Couple weeks ago, Sons of the Forest released their 1.0 update with plenty of improvements and additions to the game. Since I've been working on an amazing new bunker or powerful base design, which makes survival easy mode for your early and mid-game adventures. Take out opponents and passively hunt wildlife on the island. It's super fun and very easy to set up. Guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Florian, and in today's guide I'm going to show you how to start strong in Sons of the Forest on any type of difficulty, especially for hard playthroughs to not just survive, but thrive on the islands. Inspired on my successful original bunker build, this new design is much more compact, easy on the resources, with the addition of some new ones added with the 1.0 update to have a battle station set up and ready in no time. So let's get building. While this build can be made on an already existing world or server, I very much recommend you to start fresh. Set up a new world to make preparing your base a lot easier, as in the early days, you won't have to deal with hordes of enemies constantly trying to attack your base. When playing multiplayer, you can literally set up this building design in no time, as it's super compact, will probably only take one day with a couple of friends building together. If you're still searching for a nice server host to play Sons of the Forest or any other type of multiplayer game with friends, I can very much recommend you G-Portal, as they've been hosting my community servers for years now. G-Portal hosts servers with a super smooth connection for any of your favorite games worldwide, and you'll have them customized, set up and ready in only seconds for a competitive price. Even better, as official partner, you can use my personal ref link in the description down below, which will give you a sweet discount when checking out. Not only will you help out the channel with it, but also save a lot of money. I'd say a win-win if you're still looking for a server. Anyways, let's get to the build. Every time when you start your adventure in Sons of the Forest, you will spawn at a random crash site. This can be on different locations in the world. One of them, which I think is amazing to start in, is this little mountains biome, where you start off in the snow, pretty high up in the hills, which already gives you very easy access to the flashlight, the slingshot, and also the modern axe, which I think are all essential items you want to get your hands on as quick as possible when you start a fresh adventure in Sons of the Forest. If I open my GPS for a second, you can see that we spawned in the very center of the world. A little bit to the northwest, you will find this cave system where you can pick up the slingshot. And a little bit more to the north, where we are right now, well, this is where you will find the modern axe. So all three very close to each other. From this location, I like to make my way back to the southwestern part of the island, where you have all the rivers coming together. I like to call it the Four-Fingered Lake, which is also right next to a cave system, which is my absolute favorite place to set up camp. When you're on your way to it, you can also quickly check out this orange marker on the map, with also a small cave system where you can pick up a blueprint for the glider platform newly added with the fresh updates. And even better, when you leave the cave system, this is where you can also pick up the new golf cart vehicle at the blue cross marker on the GPS. This one allows you to reach the location where we want to build even faster. So here we are. This is still my favorite spot in the world. If I open up the map and face towards the north, zoom all the way out, well, this is where we are currently at. So there is a cave system to the southeast of us, a place with an abundance of pretty much everything you need for your early game adventures. So let's set up camp right here. Again, you can make this build pretty much anywhere on the island. Well, what you want to do is put Kelvin to work as well. Give him the job to start chopping down trees and collect logs. Place all of them right next to each other. Kelvin is pretty terrible at chopping down trees, so I recommend you to do that instead for the first couple minutes. This also gives you more control over where exactly you want the trees to fall down, make the collecting for him a little bit more efficient. While you're doing this, you also want to destroy all the smaller plants and bushes in the same parameter, as these reduce your vision in the forest, make it more difficult to spot enemies and wildlife in general while building and defending your base. If we zoom in for a second, this is where I like to place my tent, right in between these little rocks right here, which is going to be important for skipping nights and saving our progress in general in the early days. Remove all the tree stumps in the area where you want to build your foundation, as this allows trees to regrow, which you don't want to happen inside your base. So while Kelvin is gathering wood, you're going to collect some stone. Before night falls, I also like to place a couple stick storages right here, as well as one for rocks, which is going to make gathering all the smaller stuff, which can come in handy for the future, a lot easier as well. So now that all the preparations are done, let's sleep through the night and start with the real foundation. So here we have it, our clean building site with already some deer in the distance. Trust me guys, this is an amazing place to set up camp early game because you will have all the resources you will ever need in this area. So now comes a pretty important part. First, we're going to pick up some logs and decide how exactly we're going to build our base foundation. You want to align them with the pond so we can create a little passage where enemies and animals can walk through, so trapping them is going to become much easier. And we want to start off with placing our logs exactly like so. We're going to pick up a couple more. So that's 2 and 3. This is an important process to double check if you can make these beams connect with each other. If that is not the case, you want to move to another flat area where it is actually possible to connect every single one of them. Our pile of stones is slightly in the way right now, but that's not much of a big deal as we're going to use all those rocks in a bit. But so far it looks pretty good. Seems like we'll be able to connect all the beams with each other. We're going to place one more right here. So there you have it. This will be the size of our impenetrable bunker, let's say, while we want to make these foundations with stone. So now it's time to remove all the temporary wooden beams, replace them with the stone blocks we found earlier to make this build a lot more powerful. So here it is, our 3x3 foundation with exclusively stone blocks, with also about a meter of space right in between the build and our water surface, so enemies can easily walk through, both wildlife and cannibals. So right now we're gonna place stone beams on every corner of the foundation as well as in the center, on which we can later place beams on top, so we will have a very strong support canvas which we can fill in with the regular logs. Just a couple more left. I think right now you already get the idea of what exactly this is going to look like. During this night's rest, the cannibals also decided to attack me, which wasn't very kind of them. So I guess it was time to show them who's boss and give their family members a friendly reminder that this isn't the place to be for the coming days. As I'm simply preparing myself for all the playtime we're gonna have afterwards when the build is ready. The bones they were so kind to supply us with can also be stored right next to the stone and stick containers. Voila! So this is what we have right now, a combination of both stone foundation and wooden logs, with of course plenty of room in the back, so we can automatically harvest both wildlife and cannibals. If you want to quickly pick up some ropes and decided to build your base right here as well, be sure to check out the little campsite downstream, which you can find northwest of the camp. This is where you can pick up all sorts of precious resources, like snacks, rope, ink cartridges, and so much more to prepare the traps. So open up your book, go to number 2, where you can pick up the fly swatter trap. You want to rotate it and place it towards your build. There we go. Kelvin, please do be careful near these traps, but that's already the first one, which you want to have very close to the walls. We're going to place another one right next to it on this specific corner. But this is where all the gathered sticks and rocks will come in very handy to quickly prepare the traps, get ready for action. So let's place a couple more fly swatter traps. I'm going to place another one exactly like so. While on every corner of the build, I like to have a bone maker trap, which can be made with also the vodka bottles picked up in the camp talked about earlier. I also recommend you to place a couple containers for both the logs and stone blocks you will find on the floor, so you can every now and then clean up the construction site and save your progress to continue another time without losing any of the resources on the floor. Alright, so here we go. Everything we need for the base layout, with of course all the protection from cannibals early game. Right now though, of course, we want to make sure that we can easily enter it, leave it, and reactivate the traps. So if we open up our inventory, you can just select the rope and then you can hang it on the front right here, which is going to make climbing inside a lot simpler. You know what, while we're inside, why not focus a little bit on the interior? So let's temporarily move away the logs right here so we can easily access the build while we're working on this, and lay out a foundation of logs on the floor so it's going to be easy to place planks and level the ground. I'm also going to give Kelvin some new tasks to fill in all the containers right here. Voila, there we go. Now we have a nice even flooring inside our base. Now we want to place a couple more wooden beams in the center so we can work on the secondary floor, spot and take out cannibals or any type of threat a lot easier. If you jump and spam click with the locks, it's going to be much easier to place the foundation upwards. Well, if you place one on the side right here, you can use that temporarily to get up the foundation, while in general jumping already does the job very well on its own. Voila, I think this already looks pretty nice for what we need. We don't need anything too fancy or big to protect ourselves from the cannibals. Ooh, seems like we have some visitors right here, so I guess it's time to showcase the power of this build. Well, it didn't take long before this guy met his fate, but seems like we have more of them in the area, so we definitely want to be careful. In the center of the build inside, I also decided to place a couple shelves right here, which is going to make it easier to store things, which can come in very handy for defending our base. If we use the rope in the center, we can climb upstairs in no time to check out our surroundings, spot wildlife, and of course also see those hordes of bad guys coming in. From this balcony, it's very easy to take out any form of threat with ranged weapons like Molotov cocktails, while if we use this little gap in the floor, we can get to the first floor with ease as well, where I also have a nice place to check out our surroundings and also a bed, so we can save our progress and of course also skip the night. Jumping down is going to be no problemo with plenty more storage on the sides right here, while if you want to reset your traps, what you should do, make a little hole in the wall, because with this it's going to be super easy to get access to those. So now if any type of creature decides to trigger one of the traps, well, we can easily access it from inside and reset them. There are a couple upgrades which I can very much recommend you to make this building design even better. Place a drying rack at the rear, as this allows you to dry the fish which you catch in the pond right behind it. And even better, if you place a chair inside the base, you can use that one to easily teleport inside it as well. While from this location, when looking out of the window, well, this is how you can also instantly gain access to that drying rack, eat all the snacks without having to exit your base. And yeah, if you're too lazy to climb ropes, get inside your base super fast and efficiently, what you want to do is place a lock, one tall at the very end of this rock right here, on which you can jump and easily get on top of the walls or inside the base. In the cave in the southeast from this location, you can pick up the zipline gun. With it, you can create a death ride to get access to your base so much faster, and of course also use it to transport resources like logs. These amazing upgrades will make survival in the early days of Sons of the Forest so much easier, so much more fun as well, while there are of course plenty more things we can add to the design to make this bunker even more powerful for the mid and end game, which I'm going to talk about in a follow-up video, which you'll be able to find in the top right of the screen and description when it's done. Right now though, that's pretty much everything you need to start strong in Sons of the Forest. Have an impenetrable base which makes you literally invincible. Prepare yourself for the mid and late game for any adventures ahead. Right now, I'm pretty curious what you guys think about this building design, so let us know in the comments down below, and maybe you even have some additions to make this build even more efficient, even more powerful, to not just survive but thrive on the island. Leave a like if you found this building design helpful, and of course want to help others find it a little bit easier. While if you want to stay in the loop with updates, how you can make this build even better, other videos, be sure to subscribe as plenty more is coming your way. Oh, and don't forget to check out G-Portal with my ref link in the description down below if you want to have a sweet discount for server hosting for all your favorite games. Right now though, it's 4 AM out. I want to wish you an amazing day. I'll check you in the next video or live stream. Peace.